Hi everybody, my name is Victoria Taylor. I'm super excited to be here as part of InnoVaTe. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things that people in the state are doing in terms of innovation, technology. So I hope that you join me and along on this journey as I explore the many corners of this beautiful state, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Today we're meeting up with Carrick Johnson of VELCO, a power transmission company here in Vermont that helps the utilities schedule resource allocation and can predict the best times to bring particular resources on or offline. So don't go anywhere, this is going to be very cool.
So there's a saying in Vermont, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. So how does this system and all the great stuff that IBM Deep Thunder is doing kind of play into that?
Nothing. There's nothing we can do to change the weather. Absolutely nothing. And we can predict it. And even as good as we are we 100%? No. But what we have done, and no other place that we're aware of has done, is been able to tie an enormous amounts of data. Enormous. And that continues to evolve every single day. Clean it, do it, basically make information out of a bunch of data. So we can run the grid and understand weather. But perhaps, remember, this was a grid investment. And we're a transmission company to balance electric supply with electric demand for the entire state. Mm-hmm. So for us, we have a grid that perhaps never in its history has been so dependent upon the vagaries of Vermont weather.
So give me an idea of what we're looking at here.
Sure. So first, obviously you see clouds. This is the site that shows you precipitation, total precipitation and winds, as you see in the upper left-hand corner. This is a reflection of that statewide map that's built down to 1 square kilometer accuracy. I'll direct your attention to the lower left-hand corner. This is the date and the time. Mm-hmm. So this gives, over the next 3 days, here's what's going to happen in Vermont, but it's updated. What this reflects is the ability to update that forecast every 10 minutes. So it has a temporal, a time element. So what we like to say is, this is a 4-dimensional tool because it gives you right down in 1 square kilometer. We can tell you at different heights, in particular 81 different levels for different wind turbines, exactly what the wind speed is going to be at that elevation in 10-minute increments. I mean, that's
really, really in-depth. I feel like data nerds around the world will rejoice. And I love these little arrows representing the different directions of the wind and the colors that also kind of show that strength of each relative gust of wind. And at the end right now, this is what's going to be like at
Thursday, right?
6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. And you can see that the little winds are changing and the clouds are coming back. It's really, truly unique way of demonstrating this.
If you know when the wind is going to blow or when it's not going to blow, then you know when should I take that wind turbine out of service. Because now I know if I'm not going to lose any wind resource, what a perfect time to do the maintenance or something that you have to do there.
This is really exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And as a data nerd myself, I love what you're doing with this. Because historically, Vermonters have been very, very forward-thinking in terms of energy efficiency and reducing energy leaks and preparing for all the various seasons. So this is just one additional way to do that.
I think that's right. I mean, Vermont was the first state in the nation to actually have industrial wind, 1947, I believe. We were the first transmission-only company created in the United States in 1956. You had the first statewide efficiency utility. You had the first feed-in tariff. You have the GMP is the first to partner really with Tesla in the power walls. Well, this is there's a whole tradition here. And the reason why we did this, one, is to provide benefits to our customers, but two, we want to share it. I mean, this isn't like beating our chest, look, we've built. This is, hey, this works. Now let's see how we can share it. And will some value come back to Vermont? Darn right, and it should. Thus far, if we're 97% accuracy in the solar power forecasting, our forecasts are 97% accurate. Our wind forecasts are over 93% accurate. You're just not seeing anywhere else in the world where those numbers are being achieved. Every utility is going to have to get smarter. I mean, almost 20% of our energy supply is renewable by the end of 2016. We're on a scale with maybe not Hawaii, but California. Most Vermonters don't understand 20% of our energy supply in solar in Vermont. Most people, especially if you go away, people are very surprised that Vermont is some big solar engine the way it is. So yes, there's utilities, and I think we're just scratching the surface on where the interest is going to go.
So you think that these Vermont innovations are going to be picked up on and shared and utilized in almost infinite number of ways?
I believe that kind of the race is on. When people tumble to the concept of linking weather to renewable forecasting to generation, that was like the real aha epiphany, that key linkage. In this Vermont model, where you have all these distribution utilities and a statewide utility and the state university and a hugely supportive administration and state agencies.
Perfect atmosphere.
It really is. It is that energy innovation workbench.
Dare I say the perfect storm?
Well, I avoided that. You said it. What we found on a statewide basis, why this is so powerful for us as a statewide transmission utility, is right now, because there's so much solar in Vermont, used to be your system peak, I guess apparently because I wasn't there for 20 or 30 years, for 30 years you could count on, like say, summer day, kind of hot, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That was it.
Boom, that's when the system peak you're going to hit. It'd go back up around 6 o'clock when people got home and started making dinner and stuff, but real overall when the key air conditioning, when everything was on, is there. This past year, our system peak was at 8 p.m., the latest ever in Vermont's history.
What time of year?
That was this fall, last fall.
And do we know why this was the case?
Because imagine you have all this solar, and then the sun goes down.
Oh, and people are still consuming.
It's right. So it masks the demand. All of a sudden, it drops off, sun goes down, boom.
Wow.
And that's what's going on. It's a real, it's actually manageable. It's providing some opportunities for other products, for other strategies to solve for that. But in California, that ended up being a
serious brownout.
Yeah, they call it the duck curve, because you have boatloads of solar, sun goes down. We need some engine on now to replace, to backfill that which was provided by solar.
Wow.
So that's what's happening. So we're seeing it right here in Vermont, and that tends to surprise people as well. But that's where we want to go. Now with the model we've built, now we can adapt and help better manage how we can protect Lake Champlain. Because, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. If we have a system where we can send farmers and like, for the next 12 hours, just don't spread on your field in this town, because that's when this squall is coming through.
You're going to be wasting your fertilizer, you're going to be wasting
And it's going to be washing into Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
So if we can get smarter about that, then that would help with the lake benefits to try and leverage this tool.
If anything, you're underselling this.
You know, we have almost twice as many miles of fiber optic cable as we do electrical wire. And we're an electric transmission company. And why is that? Because increasingly being able to run the electric grid reliably, it demands and counts and relies upon information.
Typically, people may not understand the value of this because it is a little bit more complex, but it's something where once you start understanding its implications for literally anything that you can imagine, you know, from healthcare to industry, from, you know, private individuals to educational institutions, like this really touches everyone's lives.
Yeah, when we started this was because of more frequent, more extreme, more costly weather events and the rise of renewable energy. But what we've also found now is the impacts on health. And if that isn't an additional trifecta of power on that to get going on this, I find it hard to imagine what will.
Is it just VELCO.com?
Yep.
VELCO.com.
www.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, today I learned that the modern power grid has changed drastically from what it was not that long ago. With alternative power supply from wind, solar, and other sources growing faster than ever predicted, VELCO has created software that links massive amounts of data into a single weather model that can help utilities manage their myriad of assets. No other software in the world can make predictions this accurate 72 hours in advance. Congrats to the team, and find out more at www.velco.com.
Production of InnoVaTe is supported in part by SovereignNet Communications, connecting communities, schools, nonprofits, and businesses to one another around the world. More information at sovereignnet.com. And by Merchants Bank, committed to supporting Vermont's innovators. More information on Merchants Bank is available at mbvt.com. Additional funding provided by the following contributors: